Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Wednesday, the Leading Change episode this week with Joelle Tegwen. Hey, Joelle, welcome back.
Hi, Bosco.
So we're looking at change because it is, after all, Change Leadership Day here on the podcast. And we want to hear a story from you, Joelle, about a change process that you were involved with and how that went through or in time, right? Like from the beginning to the end, what were the key events and the key activities that made that a success? And as you go through those steps, highlight for us the tools, the tips, the tricks, and the techniques you learned back then that you still apply today.
Yes. So this was one of the places I was brought in as a Scrum Master. One of my consulting jobs where I was brought in as a Scrum Master. And the situation that we were in was that they were taking a very old, slow application and they were going to rewrite it. And they had an external organization that was going to do the front end, and the team that I was coaching was building out the API, the back end, that would make all of that work. So they were trying to decouple from what they had, and their old system was, the queries were slow and the API was slow, and so they really needed to get it to a place that was fast. And one of the problems that they had was that everyone they had that was experienced was in India, and they needed more people, and all the new people they brought in were here in the US. And while the people that they brought in on the US side were experienced developers and they were very talented, they didn't know anything about the domain, which was very complex. It's in the medical space. And so there's a lot of business logic and a lot of regulation that needed to be worried about. And the databases weren't always well structured for, fast performant queries. And so there was a lot of work that needed to be done on that side as well. And so what we did a few things. And it was really about channeling the Phoenix project. So you have someone who's really experienced a thing, knows all the things, and of course, everyone goes to them with the work. So we put an end to that, had them create a skills grid. So what were the major technologies, skills, and domain parts for everyone on the team? And one of the things that came out of that was really interesting was even within the experienced members of the team, they had their knowledge silos too. And so the first thing we did was we implemented a teacher-student model. And so if you were an expert on the thing, you couldn't do work on a story that involved that part of the domain. All you could do was be a teacher. Someone else would do all the work. You would answer their questions. You would help them understand the tables. You would help them understand the code base. You would do the code review on it, but you could not touch the keyboard. And at first, the lead people complained a lot.
No wonder.
I'm not doing any work. I'm so frustrated. I just want to do the work. And there was about 2 sprints of a great deal of frustration from these very senior, very experienced people that, they weren't able to do this work. But then, to even like 3, 4 sprints down the road, they're getting to learn new things. They're finally released from being the only one to only work on this thing, and that's all that they can work on. They got to learn new things too. And they got to feel, and they had less pressure around, being able to take time off because they knew someone else had it and they weren't going to get dragged back in out for their vacation because somebody else knew how to do the thing. And the new people had different ideas about how to do it, and which improved the quality of the code base. And they all ended up really enjoying this new situation of diverse skills.
One of the things that is really interesting from this story is this idea that you've identified a specific topic you want to tackle in this broader, bigger change, right? Like there's this idea, okay, rewriting the system, bringing in new people, spreading the knowledge. Those are all like big changes that need to happen. But once you focused on the skill matrix and you were able to implement the student-teacher model, then all of the things started to slowly progress through a very focused activity. Is that how you saw it at the time?
In retrospect, I do. At the time, we were just trying to solve a problem because we couldn't have brand new developers not working. But it did end up leading to other greater changes. So once we got to a critical mass where the team was too big, and then we needed to split. And so we let the team self-select. I had read, so the self-selecting teams book, and I thought that was really cool and exciting. I'm like, hey, these are all like pretty senior people. We could probably do this, and got the organization to agree. And we used that skills grid, an updated skills grid for them to do this. And one of the things that they agreed on was that we had to have people from India and the US on each team because of still knowledge gaps. It takes months and months for people to come up to speed on things. So we always needed to have some expert on the team. And so the natural split would have been, a US team and an India team, but that wasn't something that this group was able to do at that point. But we were able to do that because we had done the teacher-student model, and they had been able to demonstrate, and they felt confident in how they were doing things and that things were working well. So like that, what we were talking about yesterday, the little improvements snowballing to allow for bigger improvements in how they were doing things.
And okay, I don't know if I would call that a small improvement to share skills across the whole team, but I would call that like a strong focus, right? And when you think about it, like the wider changes, once, as you said, you look at it in retrospect, they are quite big changes. But when you're in the moment trying to solve a problem, if you have this kind of tools, you know that you can trigger a lot of the other necessary changes by focusing on one specific aspect. And of course, the people who were overworked, even though they might have felt frustrated over a couple of sprints, I'm sure they understood intuitively the benefit of having others be able to do the same work in the future, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why they went along with it to begin with. They knew that they couldn't be the only one who knew how to do a thing on a team this large. And they were receiving direction from their manager saying, hey, like we have to share the knowledge here. And so there was that organizational support to do this. And they knew they needed to, and it helped them, I think, work through those frustrating sprints of not being able to do work like they wanted to do work.
Absolutely. What a great story. Thank you for sharing that with us, Joelle.
Thank you, Vasco.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.